Lively has lost almost 900,000 followers since the Baldoni It Ends With Us drama. Meanwhile, he's gained over 230,000. But wait, I thought this was all because of bots in a retaliation campaign. Here's the problem with that argument. Bots don't unfollow people. If it had actually used bot farms, they wouldn't be making her followers disappear. That's real people hitting the unfollow button. Bots might boost negative engagement, more comments, more views on bad press, but they don't erase nearly 1 million followers. That kind of drop, that's organic. Meanwhile, Baldoni gained 230,000 followers. If this was some bot operation, wouldn't those same bots be following him too? Instead, people left her page voluntarily. Bottom line, if Lively's team keeps blaming bots, they're going to have to explain how AI suddenly developed self-awareness and decided it was over Blake Lively, and so it unfollowed itself. I don't know. Does this have any effect on her lawsuit against Baldoni? I still don't understand the retaliation campaign claim.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively have long been celebrated as Hollywood's golden couple, but cracks are beginning to appear. Explosive leaks and high-stakes legal battles are now threatening their flawless image. At the heart of the storm, behind-the-scenes feud with It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni, one that has just taken a shocking turn.
On February 13th, Ari Emanuel was a guest on the Freakonomics Radio Live podcast, where he made headlines for calling Justin Baldoni Justin Baloney.
New revelations are painting a chaotic picture, with Reynolds and Lively seemingly scrambling to control the damage. But the real shocker? Hollywood power broker Ari Emanuel, CEO of WME and the couple's agent, just got caught in a stunning twist. Emanuel recently appeared on the Freakonomics podcast, where he mocked Baldoni, dismissing him as baloney. But when the episode was set to air, poof, the entire recording mysteriously vanished. Both the audio and video, gone without a trace. And just when it seemed like a bizarre technical glitch, things took an even shadier turn. A journalist leaked an audio recording proving that Emanuel had actually admitted to firing Baldoni under direct pressure from Reynolds and Lively. The fact that this was the only episode in Freakonomics history to ever go missing has fans buzzing. Was this just an odd coincidence or a calculated cover-up to protect Hollywood's elite? The scandals just keep piling up for Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Now, an old talk show clip has resurfaced, showing Reynolds cracking a wildly inappropriate joke about sexual assault. And with his and Lively's legal drama already dominating headlines, the timing of this resurfaced footage couldn't be worse. Backlash has been relentless, with many questioning Reynolds' sense of humor, especially given the serious allegations swirling online. But instead of addressing the controversy, Reynolds has remained completely silent. And that silence, it's only making things worse. Some insiders even fear this could cast a dark shadow over his highly anticipated film, Deadpool and Wolverine, as public sentiment toward him starts to shift. But here's where things get even stranger. A mysterious Change.org petition has surfaced, calling for Reynolds to be kicked out of SAG-AFTRA and the Producers Guild of America. The kicker? The petition, which accuses him of misconduct without any real evidence, was signed under the name Gavin Beck. Clear reference to the fictional murderer from Netflix's You.
And the person who sent this to me said, in the email, like, oh, Ryan Reynolds created a petition to get Justin Baldoni kicked out. I don't know if he's the one behind this, but I feel like this is the kind of sense of humor that's typical for Ryan Reynolds. I'm not going to point fingers. I'm just going to say that, who knows? So this petition really wants to kick Justin Baldoni out of Hollywood based on some allegations that has not been backed up by any receipts or any evidence yet. And the person here who wants to hide their own identity, which I think says a lot about this person. Like, why can't you stand up for something about something? If you want to ruin someone's life and career, you can't put your name on it. The person saying that, as a concerned member of the entertainment industry, it deeply saddens and angers me to witness no substantial action against abusers in our industry. The case of Justin Baldoni is a disappointing example who, despite being accused of SH, a co-star Blake Lively in the workplace, still holds membership in both the Directors Guild of America and Screen Actors Guild Though dropped by WME, it's disheartening to see that the seriality of the allegations doesn't seem to affect his standing in our industry. The news broke also that Blake Lively, who wanted to subpoena everyone on Justin Baldoni's team, basically 2.5 years back of phone records and emails and everything, that was denied by the judge, which is a good thing, you know, as Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, kept saying in the media, like, Blake Lively is not the FBI, and this is not a criminal case. So yeah, so he denied that. So now they're going to try again probably and but they need to like narrow it down. I don't see any reason why they should have 2.5 years worth of records from everyone, from like dentist appointments to, you know, doctors to shrinks, you know, all these things that they, you know, had nothing to do with this. And as they're saying themselves in the lawsuit, this alleged smear campaign didn't start until this summer. So why do they have to look back to?
Now, the internet is buzzing with speculation. Who really created this petition? Was it just a random troll or a strategic move to take Reynolds down? While there's zero proof linking him to it, the situation has exposed just how ugly Hollywood feuds can get, often turning into full-blown smear campaigns with no clear origin. Meanwhile, Lively's legal team just made a bold move to strengthen their case. They pushed for 2.5 years' worth of Baldoni's phone records, emails, and personal data, hoping to uncover something useful. But the judge wasn't having it. Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, fired back, arguing that Lively wasn't the FBI and had no right to demand such an extensive data grab in a civil lawsuit. The judge agreed. Request denied. With tensions rising and no clear winner in sight, this legal war is far from over. And just when it seemed like this Hollywood mess couldn't get any wilder, another jaw-dropping twist has emerged. A leaked email exchange between top WME executives has sparked fresh controversy, exposing behind-the-scenes power plays that could change everything.
For bad behavior, as Boy Meets World alum Matthew Lawrence stated on a recent episode of his podcast that the two had creative differences in a film that they worked on together back in 1998 called Boltneck. News Nation senior story editor Paula Froelich is here with the scoop. Paula, it seems like Ryan can't really catch a break right now with bad press between his wife Blake Lively's movie drama, now this. What else did Matthew share on this podcast?
Matthew was pretty explicit. He said, you know, back in the day, and he made sure to say that Ryan was very young and that he has matured since then, but that Ryan did not take criticism very well. And every time he did, he'd just get freaked out and storm off. And now you have to understand, the producers of this movie were Oscar-nominated producers, so they knew what they were doing. However, Ryan in his youth thought that he knew better and in a serious role tried to make it comedic. At one point, even tried to channel his inner Jim Carrey, at which point the producers were like, listen, this is not this. Please don't do Jim Carrey. Please do the role.
The emails, reportedly from very high up in the agency, suggest that Reynolds and Lively were actively pushing to blacklist Baldoni from future major projects. One particular message allegedly states, he's done. They want him out permanently. If true, this would confirm suspicions that the power couple has been pulling strings to shut Baldoni out of Hollywood. But that's not all. In a separate leak, a former assistant at WME has come forward with a bombshell claim, alleging that Reynolds personally requested Baldoni be removed from a lucrative deal months before this drama went public. The assistant, who remains anonymous, described it as a targeted takedown and insisted there was zero professional reason for Baldoni to be pushed out. Meanwhile, Baldoni's legal team is reportedly considering new action as public opinion starts shifting in his favor. Fans are now demanding answers, with hashtags like "Why Your Justice for Baldoni" gaining traction online. The pressure is mounting, and Reynolds and Lively's camp is scrambling to contain the fallout. Will they be able to keep the truth under wraps, or is this just the beginning of an even bigger Hollywood scandal? As Hollywood watches this controversy spiral out of control, yet another twist has emerged, this time with serious legal implications. A whistleblower from inside WME has come forward, claiming that key evidence tied to Reynolds and Lively's alleged interference in Baldoni's career has been intentionally destroyed. the anonymous source alleges that internal emails and notes discussing Baldoni's removal were wiped from the system shortly after the controversy erupted. They didn't just delete a few emails, the source revealed. They purged everything. They wanted to erase the paper trail. If true, this could be a major breach, especially if legal teams can prove evidence tampering. But here's where things get even wilder. A private investigator, allegedly hired by someone close to Baldoni, has reportedly been digging into these mysterious deletions, and what they've found could be a game changer. Unverified reports suggest that backup files are stored on an offshore server, potentially exposing the full extent of WME's involvement in the scandal. If those files surface, they could blow the case wide open. Meanwhile, Reynolds and Lively have remained dead silent on the latest allegations, only fueling speculation that they're scrambling behind the scenes. With lawsuits looming and Hollywood insiders turning against them, the once beloved power couple is now facing their biggest PR nightmare yet.
To the audio failures we had earlier, there was another even bigger failure. The show had not been recorded, she says. And I didn't understand. I asked her to repeat herself. She said, they didn't record the show. And I still didn't quite understand. I mean, I've been recording stuff for many years now. I was a musician and I used to work in all kinds of studios. This show now for 15 years, we've recorded thousands of studio and live interviews, many other things. And not once have the people responsible for recording just failed to record it. But tonight, that's apparently what happened. I am pretty sure we did do a live show with Ari Emanuel and RJ Cutler and Louis.
Just happened. The one show that could land a powerful WME executive in hot water just so happens to be the only show in your entire career that the recording equipment mysteriously malfunctioned. What a coincidence. Take it out.
Could this be the scandal that finally takes them down? Or will they find a way to silence the truth before it reaches the public? One thing's for sure. This drama is far from over. Just when it seemed like this Hollywood firestorm couldn't get any more explosive, another devastating leak has hit the internet. And this one could be the final nail in the coffin for Reynolds and Lively. A set of private text messages between high-profile execs at WME has surfaced, and the content is absolutely shocking. The messages, now circulating online, allegedly confirm that Reynolds and Lively personally lobbied to have Baldoni blacklisted from multiple upcoming projects. One exec reportedly wrote, "Ryan and Blake don't want him anywhere near these deals. Make it happen."
Workplace sexual assault. Yeah.
I want you to listen to Ryan Reynolds explain to an audience on national television in detail how he sexually assaulted, harassed, whatever you want to call it, Olivia Wilde.
So in the scene, she's sitting there, and I take her top off, I take her bra off, and she has these those pasties on. Right. But she's drawing these adorable little smiley faces. And I forget every line in the scene. Not just from this movie, from every other movie I've done. And I don't really know what I'm sort of going, I'm nervous, I'm blithering on about nothing. And at some point in the scene, she takes my hands and puts them on her breast. So they're there, palms a little sweaty, don't know what's happening. And then at the end of the scene, I'm supposed to take them. And I'm trying not to look at her like a 14-year-old boy who just won the lady lottery. At some point in the scene, I have to take my hands away. And I take my hands away, and I look down at my hands, and there's two freaking smiley faces. I have no idea what to do. So, the scene is over now. There's 65 crew members around. I mean, there's all these guys. There's like won the jackpot.
So what I'm hearing is not only do you peel this lady's pasties off, you cop the look, and then what did you call it? Right, allowed 65 cast and crew members.
Could this be the scandal that finally takes them down? Or will they find a way to silence the truth before it reaches the public? One thing's for sure, this drama is far from over. Just when it seemed like this Hollywood firestorm couldn't get any more explosive, another devastating leak has hit the internet. And this one could be the final nail in the coffin for Reynolds and Lively. A set of private text messages between high-profile execs at WME has surfaced, and the content is absolutely shocking. The messages, now circulating online, allegedly confirm that Reynolds and Lively personally lobbied to have Baldoni blacklisted from multiple upcoming projects. One exec reportedly wrote, "Ryan and Blake don't want him anywhere near these deals. Make it happen."
She continues to say that after 10 minutes, they were ready, and we went back in and did the scene a few times. When I went back to the green room, I said to some of the other actors, "I don't like Blake." Someone said yes. A few others have said the same. One girl said she was fine with her. and others just looked down at the floor. We had fun with Daniel Mays at the last day. Although it was a violent scene, he kept it very light and made us all laugh and didn't have any lines with Blake. And here comes another story, which is absurd to me. She says that the set was secured, meaning that no one from the outside were allowed onto the set. It was closed off, it was security there, so it was only the actors and people involved in the film. She said here that Blake Lively had a bodyguard with her at all times. And when she was in her fitting room or in her wardrobe, she had a security guard standing outside. And he would also walk with her around the sets. She says here that I understand if, you want to have a bodyguard outside because of paparazzis or fans or whatever. Even when she walked from the set to her own dressing room, she says, still in the same building, he would come down, this security guard, and walk with.
Just when you thought this Hollywood scandal had hit its peak, another shocking revelation has sent the internet into a frenzy.
Just when you thought this Hollywood scandal had hit its peak, another shocking revelation has sent the internet into a frenzy. A new batch of leaked documents has surfaced, and this time, the evidence could be impossible for Reynolds and Lively to ignore. These confidential memos, allegedly pulled from WME's internal system, revealed direct communication between top agency executives discussing how to contain the Baldoni situation. One line in particular has everyone talking, "We need to make sure Ryan and Blake aren't implicated." If true, this suggests that damage control efforts had been in motion long before the scandal became public, raising the question, what were they so afraid of getting out? And the most jaw-dropping part? A separate internal report allegedly outlines strategies to pressure studios into cutting ties with Baldoni.
So this was all arranged.
Okay, so I have to admit, I don't keep up that much on Hollywood. But even I caught wind of the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. Let the record show for those listening at home, Ari just slit his throat. I mean, it's a fucked up, bad situation that Baldoni, whatever his name is doing.
It's an effed up situation, whatever, Baldoni, whatever his name is doing. Whatever, he's your client. What a scumbag you are.
Now, he was your client too until recently.
Until I fired him.
Right.
Did you hear that? I fired him. Yeah, he was. I fired him. Because you didn't even know his name? Like, so disrespectful.
Just give a little bit of the backstory.
It's not really fair. I've known Ryan and Blake for over a decade. They're really incredible.
This includes financial incentives, back-channel conversations, and even discreet warnings that working with him could create bad optics. This explosive revelation has fans and industry insiders asking, was Baldoni deliberately pushed out of Hollywood at the couple's request? Meanwhile, Reynolds and Lively remain completely silent despite the growing storm. But behind the scenes, sources claim their legal team is in full panic mode, scrambling to prevent any more damaging leaks. But here's where it gets even crazier. Some reports suggest Baldoni himself might be ready to break his silence. Insiders say he's been gathering his own evidence and could be preparing for a massive public statement that might turn this entire scandal upside down. With Hollywood divided, legal battles brewing, and the industry watching every move, one thing is clear, this feud isn't just a PR nightmare anymore, it's a full-blown Hollywood war.
Well, people work with them. They've never had any bad mojo out there and treated people badly. They kind of are charitable because we help them with their foundation. They give them tons of money away. If what is alleged in her lawsuit that happened on social media, just because she complained to the studio that things were unhealthy on the set, that he was director and this man was the producer.
Did you hear what he just said? If these things happened on set, online, after she complained on set,
and they did to her what they're being alleged, they're really bad people.
If they did it. Notice how he said, if they did it, then they're really bad people. But here's the problem, Ari. That's the whole point of this court proceeding. Did they actually do that? What is Blake and what have you done to save your career and to kill other pieces like this podcast? You didn't even want us to listen. I mean, the hypocrisy here is insane.
Blake Lively just suffered a major legal setback, and experts say it could be a game changer. The court's latest ruling suggests that judges aren't buying her claims without solid evidence, raising serious doubts about the strength of her case. But that's not all. This denial is fueling speculation that Lively's legal team may have been overreaching in their aggressive pursuit of Baldoni. Is her case starting to crumble? And now, former colleagues are speaking out. And what they're saying is brutal. A co-star from the Rhythm section described Lively as rude, dismissive, and completely unwilling to engage on set. But this isn't an isolated complaint. More and more former coworkers are coming forward, and the pattern is impossible to ignore. Insiders whisper that hardly anyone who's worked with Lively has glowing things to say about her. She's never publicly addressed these claims, but with so many voices speaking up at the same time, her carefully crafted image is starting to crack. And the social media battle? It's nastier than ever. Leaked audio from Ari Emanuel suggests that Lively and Reynolds strategically used their massive platforms to turn public opinion against Baldoni. But Baldoni's camp isn't staying silent either. His supporters argue that Lively's team has been just as guilty of orchestrating online smear tactics.
All right, so everything in the world is just ridiculous. It's pointedly ridiculous, I would say. I mean, I'm no longer believing the things I'm saying. I feel like I am now lying to the public when I cover these things because we're just reaching levels of absurdity that are offending my sensibilities, right? First and foremost, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have hired former CIA agents with a proven track record of lying to the public, gaslighting the public to help her with PR. Also, they moved to do this within the same 24 hours that I started randomly getting attacked for my coverage of Blake Lively. Remember yesterday we talked about The Cut. We're going to speak about that again because that journalist has got some deranged ideas of her own. And then I just found out more about this very interesting background of E.J. Dixon. Also, the judge in Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request for 2.5 years worth of every message that Justin Baldoni and Justin Heath and the PR agents have ever sent to everybody, plus location data. We knew that was going to happen. And we have obtained the audio of hotshot Ari Emanuel of WME, who describes himself as ride or die for the couple.
With both sides locked in a digital war, fans are left wondering, who's really behind these campaigns? And now, the stakes are higher than ever. Industry figures are reportedly distancing themselves from Reynolds and Lively, which could spell disaster for their Hollywood dominance. What started as a legal fight has exploded into a full-blown power struggle, exposing the dark underbelly of Hollywood politics, the dangerous influence of social media, and the extreme lengths celebrities will go to in order to protect their reputations at all costs. Will Lively and Reynolds manage to survive the fallout, or is their reign in Hollywood finally coming to an end? So, are Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds victims of a smear campaign, or are they the masterminds behind it all? One thing is certain, their once impeccable public image has taken a massive hit, and the public has already chosen sides. And with fresh leaks and shocking allegations continuing to surface, this scandal is far from over. Despite the storm raging around them, Lively and Reynolds have remained eerily silent. But with the pressure mounting, how much longer can they really ignore it? Will they step in to control the narrative? Or is this just the beginning of their public downfall? What started as a behind-the-scenes dispute has now exploded into one of Hollywood's most jaw-dropping scandals. With leaked recordings, courtroom failures, and a growing industry backlash, the power couple's once unshakable Hollywood dominance is now hanging by a thread. Will they recover, or will even more damaging secrets come to light? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. Keep your eyes peeled because in Hollywood, the truth always finds a way out. Want to stay updated on the latest twists and turns? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll be following this story closely, so you won't want to miss what happens next. See you in the next one.